Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. We are truly excited to have you here today for an important occasion, the release of the new version of CMDBuild. I am Alessandro Pasqualini. I work in the sales department in Tecnoteca, and I am here today with Anna Pascoletti, delivery manager, and Umberto Caligaro, the product leader.
Hi.
To introduce you. So I have introduced you, my colleagues, that will be today with me to introduce you to the release of CMDBuild 4.0. As you know, CMDBuild is an open source project that has been supporting companies and organizations for years in managing their asset. It all started back 20 years ago in 2005 with a clear goal. To provide an open source solution for configuration and asset management, ensuring the maximum flexibility and customizability. From its very first version, the project has followed a precise philosophy. So, let's say, putting the user need at the center, offering a modular, scalable, and easily integrable tool. Over the years, CMDBuild has continued to grow and innovate thanks to the numerous experience and projects worldwide. And these experiences has also led to the development of CMDBuild READY2USE and openMAINT, the two pre-configured versions focused on the IT governance and on facility management. Each new release has brought significant improvements, keeping up the technological advancement and meeting the needs of those who use the platform every day. And today we are here to discover together the new features that will make this platform even more powerful, flexible, and efficient. During these sessions, we will explore what's new in the release, the benefit it offers, and how you can make the most of it in your organization. For your information, this session will also be recorded, so you have the opportunity to revisit the topics later on if you are interested. And we will also showcase some of the new features in a live demo. And so, of course, at the end, there will be also time for questions and answers with our team. Okay. As mentioned here, CMDBuild 4.0 is not just an update, but is like a measured evolution. This new release represents the result of years of development and continuous optimization, bringing significant improvement in three key areas: for infrastructure, user experience, and functionality. With CMDBuild 4.0, we introduce major architectural enhancement, making the system more robust and scalable. At the same time, we have also focused on improving the usability, so with a modernized interface and a smoother user experience. And of course, we have also added new features to make the platform even more powerful and adaptable to different needs. Some of the key highlights that you can see in the slide includes a brand new plugin manager, which simplifies the extensions of CMDBuild functionalities, the initial implementation for Kubernetes support, and this is an important step towards a greater flexibility and scalability, a complete graphic restyling and a refreshed user interface designed to enhance the usability and the navigation, and many other new features and functionalities that we will explore in detail during the session. So we can say that CMDBuild is designed to bring a greater efficiency, security, and scalability, making the innovation management even easier. With CMDBuild 4.0, we are not just launching a new version, but we are reinforcing our long-term commitment to continuous innovation. One of the key pillars of our strategy is the seasonality of releases. So this means that each new version is not just like an isolated update, but is part of a structured and ongoing improvement process. So we plan a new release on a seasonal basis, ensuring that CMDBuild continues to evolve steadily and incorporates both technological advancement and also valuable feedback from our community. Following this release, we are already working at the next one, which is scheduled for July. So bringing further developments and concrete solutions. Some of these improvements could also be inspired by you and your specific needs. So we encourage you to share your insight and experience with us. And with this approach, we can ensure that CMDBuild remains a dynamic platform that continues to grow and adapt to the challenges of the future. Before we move forward, here are some useful pieces of information regarding CMDBuild 4.0 and today's session. So the new software version will be available from tomorrow, 28th of March. And as you know, CMDBuild Ready2USE and openMAINT are the two pre-configured versions of CMDBuild, and they share the same core code. So clearly, the new release will also be available for the two vertical solutions. The annual subscription includes the remote update of CMDBuild core when there is a new release. But the advanced configuration components are not included into the core update. So, for example, the custom connectors or custom pages implemented will need to be analyzed and evaluated before proceeding with the update. And for further and specific consideration, we recommend you reaching out to your technical or sales account. We encourage you to participate actively, so you can ask your questions using the Q&A feature of Microsoft Teams, and we will address them at the end of the session if we have time, and or we will provide you dedicated feedback later. And finally, we remind that we highly value your feedback. So at the end of the session, we will ask you your contribution through a satisfaction survey. And your input helps us to continue improving all our activities and also our webinars. So with that said, let's continue to dive deeper into this new release of CMDBuild 4.0. Now let's take a recap of the main features of this release. Then I will hand it over to my colleagues who will dive deeper into the technical details. As you can see in this slide, these features are categorized using three different tags. So open, and this refers to the functionalities available in the open source version of CMDBuild core, and so meaning that they are accessible to everyone. Among these, we can highlight the graphic design and user interface improvement, the new plugin manager, the Kubernetes deployment support, enhanced security aspect, and other functionalities that we will explore together shortly. Then we have subscription, and these are the functionalities included into the annual subscription support service that we offer to our customers. All subscribers have access to these features, And in this case, we include like the data model synchronization and some new plugins. Then we have the premium, and this tag identifies additional specific features that are available for customers at an extra cost, depending on their needs. Examples are the offline mobile app and certain advanced plugins. Well, now I think it's time to leave the floor to Umberto and Anna, who will guide you through the technical aspects in more details.
Okay, thank you, Alessandro, for your introduction. Now, in my part of presentation, I will go in deep in some technical aspects, and then my colleague Anna will go in deep in the UI features or features available for the users who can use that features. Now, the first one new feature that I want to talk about is the graphic restyling and UI. First of all, we have upgraded the Sencha XJS framework to the latest open source version, making then the application more modern and efficient. To further improve the user experience, we also introduced several visual and functional enhancements. We have redefined navigation and layout. As you can see in the screenshot, we have added a background in the header and in the navigation to clearly distinguish the different sections, improving the readability of and accessibility. Then we have changed the font. We have adopted a more modern and readable font. We have optimized the interface. Then we have made a better use of primary action, color, and introduced a secondary action to enhance the usability. We have also redesigned the login page, align it with the new user interfaces guidelines to ensure a more seamless and modern user experience. Then we have also updated the administration module, adapted to the new user interface principles for improved consistency and across the platform. Now I leave the floor to Anna for another feature.
Thanks, Umberto. So now, moving on to the next topic, let's introduce one of the most interesting features in CMDBuild 4, the plugin manager. The current architecture of CMDBuild, although open, flexible, and configurable, was in fact monolithic, made up of a single centralized application that carried out all the functionalities. It is true that this has several advantages in terms of lower complexity, speed of implementation, testing methods, and overall performances. On the other hand, it also presents some disadvantages, both in terms of scalability and maintenance, given the greater dependency between the components. CMDBuild 4 is a first step towards the decoupling of some components, which will be managed from now on as external plugins. For example, some new core functionalities have been designed as plugins, such as the CMIS protocol integration and the offline module for the mobile app. Moreover, all the new connectors will be realized as plugins, making their installation as easy as one click, since everything will be embedded in one single jar file that will be uploaded from the dedicated section in the administration module. These jar packages can contain patches, custom interfaces, configuration files, source files for reports and workflows, and scripts. So in our vision for the future, we see entire application modules being developed as plugins, such as every service desk workflow or a specific data model extension, making reuse, versioning, and installation across multiple instances incredibly easier. One of the most exciting new features developed with the plugin manager is the mobile app offline mode, a long-awaited feature that many of you have been asking for, especially openMAINT users. In certain environments, like tunnels or remote locations, connectivity can be a huge challenge when performing maintenance tasks. Now, with this new feature, you can download a subset of your data directly onto the mobile app, such as cars and processes. This means that you can still refer to CMDBuild car or fill out checklists and complete your tasks, even if your device is offline. And once the connectivity is restored, you can easily upload your checklist outcomes and upload your updated data. Indeed, we have also integrated an incredibly useful data reconciliation tool, which is available in the form of a premium plugin. This will help you easily merge any potential conflicts in the data, ensuring that everything remains perfectly synced. We believe this will truly improve how you work in the field, making maintenance operations smoother, faster, and more reliable, no matter where your users are. The offline mode of the app allows the administrators to define datasets that can be downloaded on a device. Each dataset is defined by selecting the classes we want to download, defining which attributes will be editable and which attributes will be in read-only mode when operating offline, and possibly filtering the cards to download. In this video, we are going to see the mobile app offline mode in action. So from the menu, we go to the settings section of the app and click on the Start Offline Mode entry. From here, we can select the available datasets, and once the dataset is selected, the download of the data starts. When the download is completed, the user receives an in-app notification. From here, we can click on Start Offline Mode and the app reloads. Once the reload is complete, you can see the gray header of the page with the offline mode label, and now the user can work on the cards using the data downloaded on the device. And for instance, I can edit a card operating on the attributes that have been defined as writable in the dataset. Once the connectivity is available again, the user can turn off the offline mode, and all the changes will be pushed to the CMDBuild server, where they can be revised and merged from a dedicated section. And we will see more about this in the final part of this webinar. Another interesting plugin available for customers is the data model synchronization tool, a feature that I believe will save a lot of headaches for those of you who develop data models in CMDBuild. This new plugin offers the following capabilities. First of all, extracting the JSON definition of the data model. Then it's able to compare two data models to spot their differences, just comparing the corresponding JSON files. Applying the changes in the correct order in order to align the two data models. And finally, also managing logical deletion of entities no longer present in the target data model. We believe this feature will be incredibly helpful during the data model configuration phases, allowing you to understand released extensions or identify features that haven't yet been released to production. It will make aligning two different instances of CMDBuild much easier and more automated, minimizing the risk of errors. And to wrap up this section dedicated to the plugin manager, This slide gives you an overview of all the integrations that will be managed through specific plugins. Some of these are old acquaintances like LDAP, OCS Inventory, VMware, while others are more recently developed, such as Azure RM, Azure AD, Kubernetes, and HDA. And now I'll pass the floor back to Umberto, who will talk about some infrastructural updates.
Thank you, Anna. And thank you for your explanation of this important feature. After exploring the new plugin manager functionality, let's now sniff our focus back to some key infrastructural aspects of this release, starting with security. The most significant change was the transition from JAVX to Jakarta. This update offers several advantages. Future compatibility, because Jakarta is the official successor of JAVX, ensuring long-term stability and support. Then greater modularity and flexibility, because we can now include only the necessary components, improving maintenance and performance. The performance improvements, thanks to the introduced optimization, the application is faster and more responsive. And then new standards and technologies, because Jakarta integrates the latest web technologies and make integration with other platforms easier. Additionally, we have updated Spring from version 5 to version 6. And as part of these changes, we also migrated Tomcat from version 9 to version 10. These upgrades not only enhance the overall security of the application, but also improve efficiency and scalability of the CMDBuild. And as part of our vision for the future of CMDBuild, we have started implementing Kubernetes support to enhance scalability and streamline service management. We have started with framework updates to ensure the compatibility with the Kubernetes, support for the Kubernetes version of Ignite that allows to distribute the overload of the nodes, setting up observability and system with the Loki and Grafana, enabling more advanced log management, and externalizing certain services such as converters to better distribute the workload. These changes lay the foundation for a more flexible and scalable architecture, making CMDBuild ready for cloud and containerized environments.
Okay, thanks. Now let's take a look at some of the key improvements we have made to the data management module, some of which were suggested by our customers. And let's start from the GIS module. First, we have simplified the map visualization and optimized the way resources are loaded on the map. This will significantly improve the user experience, making it faster and more intuitive. We have also introduced an option to enable point clustering. This is particularly useful when dealing with large datasets, as it groups nearby points together, reducing clutter and making the map easier to navigate. To further improve usability, we have added point icons to the layer list, as you can see in the screenshot. And this feature helps you to quickly identify and differentiate between various point types at a glance. Another important update is the ability to configure which layers are visible when opening the map. This allows for greater customization and helps you focus on the most relevant information from the start. Lastly, we have added a satellite view, giving you more ways to visualize the data and making it easier to navigate in a real-world context. With these updates, we are confident that the GIS module will become even more powerful and user-friendly. Another interesting improvement we have introduced concerns how relationships are handled. Previously, operations from the Relation tab allowed users to bypass constraints defined on reference attribute through SQL filters or validation rules. So often, those constraints had to be duplicated at the database level. Additionally, being able to modify the same relation, so basically the same information from two different points, often led to confusion. So to improve clarity and ensure greater consistency, we have modified the Relations tab so that the relationships linked to a reference attribute are now read-only. This change guarantees better compliance with the business rules implemented on the classes and improves the overall system reliability. Moving on to the next feature, we have focused on optimizing attachment management performances. To achieve this, we have integrated the system directly with Alfresco APIs, replacing the CMIS protocol. This transition allows for faster and more efficient handling of attachments, significantly improving overall performance. Additionally, we have introduced a new feature that automatically allows the user to resize his images upon upload. And this ensures optimized disk space usage and better system responsiveness without requiring manual intervention. And next, let's take a look at a nice new feature in the import file templates. We have introduced the ability to filter the data to be imported, allowing users to work with only a subset of rows from the import file. This means, for example, that one single file can be used to import different kinds of assets, just applying different filters on each template, and therefore splitting the file contents in different CMDBuild classes. On the other hand, it is now also possible to filter the CMDBuild cards affected by the synchronization process. And this improvement prevents, for instance, the removal or the activation of cards that we don't want to impact with the import procedure, preserving data integrity and avoiding unnecessary manual work. And finally, let's move on to the final feature we have introduced, which was highly requested by our users. We have finally implemented widgets also for closed processes. This improvement provides users with better visibility and possibility to access to key information such as checklists related to a maintenance or the CIs affected by an incident, even for processes that are now completed. And now let's move on to the live demo to see these features in action. Okay, here we are. So the first thing we'll look at together is the new graphical layout of CMDBuild. As you can see, the login page has been redesigned and the graphics have been simplified. The background of the page is now light gray instead of white. The logo has been given more prominence. The language selection, which was previously in the top right corner, has now been moved to a more accessible location. The change that immediately catches the eye is, I believe, the introduction of a dark background for the header and the navigation menu. which helps to clearly distinguish the different sections of the page. Moreover, the footer has been removed to better exploit all the available space on the screen. We simplified the interface, introducing the concept of one primary action per page, identifiable with the blue buttons. The secondary action, such as the Save and Close button over here, is white background with blue font. Another small adjustment is that each button now has either text or an icon, but never both, as you can see from the Add Card button, which has no more the plus symbol. We have also changed the font, as Umberto mentioned before, and chosen a new one that's more modern and engaging. We have updated, of course, the administration module as well. Here it is, to reflect the new UI guidelines, keeping consistency across the entire platform. And let's move on now to an overview of the features we have presented before. As mentioned earlier, the administration module now includes a new section dedicated to the plugin manager, over here, just below the task manager section. As you can see from the menu, we can view the list of the installed plugins. When I select a plugin, I can check some of its general properties, such as the name, the version, as well as the version of CMDBuild that the plugin requires to check its compatibility with the CMDBuild version we are running. Another interesting aspect is that each plugin can require to apply patches in SQL or JSON format. As you can see, this plugin has some patches to apply. And the patches can be executed directly from this interface with no need to connect to the server or operate directly on the database. Each plugin has a section dedicated to its own configurations, which can be a simple set of key value parameters like for the CMIS plugin, or something more complex and completely customized, as in the model diff data plugin. This in particular is the plugin that manages the reconciliation of the differences on the data modified with the offline mode of the mobile app. So first of all, this is where we define the data sets that we want to make available for the offline app that I mentioned before. We choose the classes and the attributes that the user will be able to read and write from the offline app. So you have already seen the mobile app in action in the video before. So let's now take a look at what happens when the changes are pushed from the mobile device to the CMDBuild server. As you can see from the data management module, the user receives a notification about the availability of some data that needs a revision. Clicking on Apply Changes, I can see the diff between the current CMDBuild data, here, the current value column, and the version pushed from the mobile device. I can accept all the upcoming changes, or I can accept all the changes related to a specific class, or I can decide what to do one change at a time from this interface. When all these checks are completed, I can save, and everything will be merged and stored in the database. Now let's take a look to the improvements on the GIS module, starting with the first one, the changes in the layers definition. So let's select the room class and go into the layers section. As you can see now, we have here a new column that allows us to define which layers are active by default. So for instance, in this example, we have set only the network devices to be active by default. So switching to the data management module, let's select a room and open the map. As you can see, only the network devices are displayed by default. However, from the Layers menu, I can access the full list of the available layers, and I can choose to enable or disable them as needed. While in the previous version, all active layers were turned on when opening the map, making the loading slower and the map a bit harder to read. Then, going back to the administration module, let's move to the building class and to the geo attribute definition. You can see here two new parameters that allow the user to enable the point clustering I mentioned before and to define the cluster distance. So this means that when we are on the map, according to the level of zoom, the points are collapsed into one single icon. So for instance, as you can see, we have 3 points, and if I zoom out, they collapse. And this is particularly useful if you have a lot of locations that are close one to another. And another nice feature, especially useful for those who perform maintenance on outdoor infrastructure, is the satellite view that you can activate from this icon. So from here, you can switch from the satellite view to the standard view and back. Then our next topic is relationship management, and let's stay here on the building class and open a specific card. Let's go into the Relations tab, where you can see now that relationships linked to a reference attribute, like this one, are now read-only. In this case, so the relation between the building and the complex is not editable from here, since we want to force the user to operate on the reference attribute on the card. This prevents ambiguities and errors, ensuring greater consistencies with the business rules implemented through SQL filters on reference attributes and, in general, validation rules defined on a card. Then, moving on to the DMS module. As I mentioned earlier, we have removed the CMIS protocol, and the integration with Alfresco now happens directly through its APIs, resulting in significant performance improvement. However, the CMIS protocol can still be reactivated if needed by installing the corresponding plugin that you are seeing here. In the DMS settings page, you will also find the options for the automatic resize image, as well as the ability to limit the number of attachments with previews. And all these improvements are designed to optimize disk space usage and enhance the responsiveness of the user interface. And now let me show you something related to the import templates. So if you go to the section where an import template is defined, here, you can see that there is a new section, import filters, that is a new introduction. Here I can configure filters based on the columns of my input file. So for instance, if I want to consider and import only a subset of rows of my Excel file, I can just write the name of the column that I want to filter and enter the condition. So this means that all the rows that do not match this filter are discarded from the import process, and so the file is reduced just to the matching rows. On the other hand, you can use this interface also for filtering the CMDBuild cards. So I can define a filter on the cards. So I can define a filters on the cards of the class I am synchronizing, in case the import needs to involve only a specific subset of CMDBuild records. So that's all for the live demo. And now I'll hand it back to Alessandro, who will introduce a really exciting topic.
Thank you, Anna. So with my colleagues, we have already covered the key new features of this release. And just 1 second that we share the proper slide. Yes, here we are. So I would like to take a moment to highlight another important innovation, which is very tied to the company's strategic direction, especially following our integration into the Zucchetti Group. As you can see, we are talking about artificial intelligence, and specifically in a way that brings concrete value to CMDBuild. We are referring to continuous monitoring of complex and dynamic systems, detecting and, when possible, predicting critical behaviors while automating the issue resolution. Big4IT is a cutting-edge observability platform designed to enhance the system monitoring through the artificial intelligence. By analyzing a vast amount of data in real time, it can not only detect anomalies, but also anticipate potential issues before they occur. One of its key strengths is the ability to provide comprehensive dashboards that deliver real-time alerts and assess the impact of anomalies and present detailed metrics categorized by business groups and devices. This allows organizations to quickly identify and address critical events before they escalate. Leveraging AI-driven analytics, Big4IT generates automatic alert reports and suggests a resolution strategy based on historical patterns. This proactive approach reduces downtime and improves the overall system reliability. The integration with the CMDBuild is seamless, thanks to a dedicated plugin that enhances configuration management by automatically populating and updating the CIs, including the Kubernetes resources, and enabling direct navigation in the CIs and their relationship within CMDBuild, offering a clear view of dependencies and the overall system health. So now let's see how this works in practice with a short demo video.
Big4IT is an advanced observability platform that collects metrics and logs from various sources. Thanks to sophisticated AI models, it can predict anomalous behaviors before they occur. On the homepage, various business groups are listed with a summary of alerts and anomalies. From the list, you can easily access the detailed metrics for the selected device. Also on the homepage, the list of anomalies detected by the AI algorithms is visible, along with the corresponding detailed dashboards. From the list of anomalies, it is also possible to view a dashboard that represents the impact analysis on related services in case a particular service has an anomaly. From each business represented on the homepage, it is possible to access a detailed page that shows all the services comprising that business. In addition to proactive infrastructure monitoring, Big 4 IT is capable of automatically populating the CI of CMDBuild. Here, the CI of Kubernetes are shown. The status of the CIs is automatically updated by agents that collect metrics. It is possible to navigate between one CI and another through the tabs of each CI. Artificial intelligence is used to generate a report related to the identified alert, presenting suggestions for resolving the encountered issue and a detailed analysis of the history of any problems that have occurred with the impacted service.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting. And we are now reaching the final part of this webinar, which means it's time for the Q&A session. And so let's take a look at your questions, and we will be happy to provide answers and clarification in just a moment. We have seen that some questions already arrived. But before providing you answers, we would like to remind you that your feedback is extremely valuable to us, and it helps us improve. So please take a moment to scan the QR code or click the link present on the screen to share your impressions. It only takes a couple of minutes, but we truly appreciate your inputs. Okay, so well, this brings to the end of today's webinar, and we would like to say a big thank to everyone for being here with us. And we hope you enjoyed the session and you find it useful. Don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any further questions, and if we didn't have the time to answer all of them, maybe we will recheck them at the end of the meeting and then provide you a feedback individually. So thanks again, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.